How do you make choppy water look ghostly? You use a 10-stop neutral density filter. So with a neutral density filter, you're able to adjust the amount of light coming into the camera so that you get extra long shutter speeds. So here's a shot, 1/30th of a second, a dull day, and the water is just bleh. Now, bleh is the technical term for large areas of nothing that just look boring. So that's a 1/30th of a second shot, as I say. What happens if we make that 519 seconds on the same day? We just have ghostly water. So conditions that you would think are not really conducive to a good looking shot, it changes everything. It just changes everything. So in this shot here, the standard camera chosen shot, 1/4 of a second. Bleh, 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 bleh. Clouds, bleh. What if we make that 240 seconds? Well, there's a sheen on that water now that just changes everything. And we've got movement on the clouds because 240 seconds, it's a long time for those clouds to be moving. Now, we are going to be looking at how you will make this happen inside the camera. So you're going to have to do a lot of work yourself. The camera is way out of its comfort zone in terms of how it will work. So with a neutral density filter, a circular neutral density filter, you move this to adjust the amount of brightness and darkness that's coming in to the camera. Now, if you have a look here, at the maximum, I'm getting 4 seconds. F22, 200 ISO, the lowest on this camera. If I start adjusting the dial, the circular polarizer, you can see how I'm getting those changes. So there's a big difference in terms of what I can do with that neutral density filter as I begin to rotate it. So we have to go into bulb mode because we need to be able to make the camera give us these shutter speeds. It's going to well beyond the 30 seconds that most cameras can do under normal conditions. And you'll get bulb mode by going into manual, and this is if there's no B already on the dial, then keep going, keep going, keep going. And once you go one beyond 30, usually 30, sometimes 60, depends on the camera, you get bulb mode. Now with bulb mode, you're going to have some sort of way of firing the shot. So it could be an app that works with your phone. You could use a cable release, and we need to be able to lock that. I just don't have the cable attached here. I press, push up. That keeps the shutter open until I come back and do that. Now, if you have an interval timer or something like that on your camera, you can set in the time that you want. If you've got the app on the phone, you may be able to do that. But with this, you're basically dialing it in on your phone or checking your watch and then coming over and stopping it when it's necessary. Now, the thing to bear in mind here is that you don't have to be second specific, because once you get into the numbers, it changes. And let me show you what that actually means. So here's a neutral density filter. Here's our start point, 1 stop all the way up to 10 stops. So if we start at 1/125th of a second, going 10 stops gets us 8 seconds. Now, if we're already in the region of 0.5 of a second, half a second, we can go all the way up to 540 seconds. Now, if we're able to get dull conditions and it's 4 seconds, then that's 4,320 seconds. So that's a really, really long time to be able to keep the camera open. So obviously a tripod, you need to be on something steady. It does worth bearing in mind, in fact, if the light level is dropping or rising, that's going to affect your exposure over that length of time. So basically what you're looking to do is to get a dull overcast day where the situation isn't changing too much, so that you can calculate that exposure based on the graph that I've just given you. So how do you make choppy water look ghostly? You use a 10-stop neutral density filter. If you have any questions, just pop them in the comments.